I thought that was going to be an intro.
Hello there, how are you, ladies and gentlemen? Today here we are with this guy, the guy who eats squids. Look at this. And what do you weigh now? Like 360? You're like a big Rami.
Thank you.
But not that big. And to my immediate left is light as a feather, Jared Feather with his mohawks. I like your mohawks. It's like a Total Recall Part 4. And Sensei Josh over here.
Sifu
And whatever Chinese, Japanese martial art you do. And it's great, yeah. I want you to choke me.
Oh, boy.
Okay, cool.
Thanks, Arnold. Folks, as you all know, that was one of our co-hosts here, Dr. Marcos Rodriguez, who has a PhD in ethnogeography, Ayurvedic plant medicine.
Fasting also.
Fasting is applied to spirituality. That was an MD, actually.
Go hand in hand.
And he is a resident scholar at the Harvard School for Hallucinogenic Medicine.
Amen,
and
brother.
He trains the rich and famous in New York City. I myself am Dr. Mike Israetel, doctor, quote unquote.
Trump University.
Yep. At Trump has a university?
He did.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It was like sued for being shitty or something. Surprise. So I am a sport physiologist or something. I used to be a professor. Then they couldn't tell me after the incident that I couldn't work at the university anymore. Josh, you remember that. I came battered and bruised to your arms.
Wounded.
Don't speak. We haven't introduced you yet.
Wow, that was fucking weird.
What a dick.
Nothing's changed.
Jared Feather here is not a nice person, but he's a great bodybuilder.
Thank you
so
so much.
at least we've got that. Josh Vogel, Blackbelt, Jiu-Jitsu competitor.
What you just call him?
I made it racial.
No, I'm just kidding.
Color. Black belt color. He is a longtime Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu competitor, instructor extraordinaire at the Great Balance Studios in Philadelphia under Ricky and Phil Migliaris. We're going to try to get one of those two on the podcast here to talk a whole lot of shit. I hope that works.
They got some stories.
Oh my God. Yeah. I'll be like, Ricky, go. He'd be like, what's the question? I'm like, nah, just hit it. So Josh is actually my Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu coach, and he helps to take my complete lack of athletic talent and whittle it into something that doesn't suck 100%, maybe sucks 99%. We scoured the very depths of the internet and found Instagram, and there we laid down for a night's rest. When we awoke among the trees and the brush, we discovered several questions for Josh Vogel. Shall we go to the gram?
You say the dumbest
Bring
shit,
'em.
bro.
I say the dumbest shit.
Swear to God.
Talk about plant medicine, you dumb motherfucker. I don't even know why we're friends.
It's plant-based
You tell
medicine.
me- right, yes, plant-based lifestyle. Why are we friends?
I don't know, man. You found me on Instagram and you started sending me fucking messages and shit.
They were picture messages of my genitals.
Which I reciprocated, all right?
Yeah,
Whatever.
somebody's got talent. I'm just saying, Marcos, don't ever just take that for granted.
You're welcome.
Tacos for George from Instagram asks Josh, damn, this shit is deep right off the fucking front. How has your study of martial arts affected your interactions with other people in your day-to-day life?
So I think it's given me a lot more patience for people because,
You know you could kill them if it came to it.
well, I guess that's probably part of it, but then part of it is like, you get used to some gorilla like you sitting on my face and nothing else really stresses you out after that.
True.
So you get some asshole that doesn't hold the door for you at Starbucks or something. Can't really get too mad about it because you're used to something a lot more stressful happening. People strangling you or sitting on you or, 8,000 degree weather and you're got somebody dripping sweat in your face.
Ugh.
So nothing else really seems that bad.
Have you ever had someone drip sweat into your mouth?
Yes.
Isn't that like some
Both of my
utterly
eyes and my mouth at the same time.
Oh my God.
Yeah. The first time this happened, I was training with somebody and he had gotten on top of me in the mount. We were training Nogi. He had a sweat-soaked t-shirt on and I inhaled. And just like when Han Solo gets frozen in the carbonite, it just stuck to my whole upper body and I couldn't breathe. I just inhaled all this disgusting sweat.
Oh.
I still do Nogi though.
Yeah, it didn't send you running.
That's why I don't do jiu-jitsu anymore.
Dudes, legitimately, people ask, like, should I do jiu-jitsu? It looks fun. I'm like, It's got fun stuff about it if you like the following: fungal infections, smelling like shit, having your face rubbed into a mat by an ex-wrestler with anger issues, and getting your arms broken off your body, leaving with black eyes, and sweating and being super uncomfortable, and sucking and sucking and sucking, and finally figuring out that you could do one move, sucking at it for a long time, realizing you can't actually do it, and then at some point they give you a belt, and you get to beat other people up and be pretty decent at it. So if you're willing to invest about 2 years of shit fucking misery, then it's a fun hobby that gets you hurt.
It's like a chicken pot pie with a really nasty crust. If you can get through that, everything else is good. You can get used to picking weird hairs out of your teeth, or people dripping sweat in your face, or the aromas that pop up.
We're really selling jiu-jitsu.
But then it's fun once you get past that crust.
Totally. Jared, being that you used to eat chicken pot pies with hair in them, how does this make you feel?
Oh, it's a great analogy.
Isn't that a good analogy? This is the king of analogies here.
It's very good.
Yeah.
I eat a lot of chicken pot pies.
Did you really?
Yeah, they're pretty good. I really do.
Next question. Dimtis. Don't fuck these people get these names, man. I can't even read the shit. What, a robot supposed to read it? Dimts. Dimts.
And
Says,
Mango was his name, huh?
I've always wanted to know, in MMA, they mention when fighters are black belts under somebody. You know what I mean?
Unbelievable, man. I got it.
You see it, Marcos. Some teachers / schools are more respected than others, it seems, and some black belts are implied to be of higher level than others, meaning same degree. How true is this, Josh Vogel?
So I guess if I understand the question correctly, it's like it's kind of like that quote. They say like there are black belts and then there are black belts. Like there's some black belts that are they asking more about like the credibility of different black belts from different respected schools, or?
I think so. Like basically they're watching an MMA fight.
Yeah.
And you're like, this guy's a black belt under Machado. And you're like, what was Machado? Like, was that supposed to mean something?
I gotcha.
Right? Or is it just like there's an honor culture there and you have to respect who the black belt is, even if it's not like a super great school or something?
I mean, so usually what MMA commentators are doing when they do that is they're either, like, if they know what they're talking about, they're usually talking about the level of quality of the training environment. So like you say, like, he's a Marcelo Garcia black belt. Marcelo Garcia is one of the greatest competitors of all time. He doesn't give belts out easily. So that means that if you get a belt from him, you lived up to certain high standards. And then also, if you're training at his school, the level of the training floor is very high. There's a lot of world-class black belts training there. So if you can reach the level of black belt according to his high standards and training with a bunch of killers all the time, you're probably pretty legit. But if you're training, like, if sometimes MMA commentators say it like, maybe like that person, that jiu-jitsu instructor has a lot of credibility, but maybe their training floor is not known as being high level. So maybe like Machado, not like a real Machado, but like if you made up some high level Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu competitor who's got a, reputation and he's well respected, but might not have the most high level training for, or the most high level competitors to train with, they're probably just saying like, okay, well, this person's probably good because this person's famous and they gave him a belt.
And so sometimes that's not accurate then.
Yeah. Sometimes it's bullshit, and sometimes it actually means that the person went through really, really hard training sessions and lived up to a very high standard to get a black belt.
I guess it's different in bodybuilding because it doesn't really fucking matter who you train with, or does it? What do you guys think?
I think it does.
You don't have any friends. You don't train with anybody.
I hate you so much.
When you get into like the deep ass politics of it, yeah.
No shit?
Yeah, like people will place kind of shitty at a show, and then you'll see them training out at Bev's, and
Yep.
2 weeks later,
Gonna say that.
2 weeks later, they have a pro card. It's like, oh, all right.
Josh, is there what's the extent of politics in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and MMA, if you care to comment?
I mean, there's a lot of directions to go with that. Like there's, if you're talking about like belt promotion politics, or like politics like this team doesn't like this team, or this person doesn't like this person. So there are a lot of politics, and there's a lot of ways that politics happen in Jiu-Jitsu, MMA, stuff like that. So do you mean like with belts and stuff, or do you mean like people arguing with each other?
Like, Dana White won't let me fight for the title kind of shit. Does that really happen, or does Dana White just really care about who's going to be the most profitable fighter / who's going to win?
I mean, so when it comes to MMA, I can't. I'm speaking from like an outsider perspective because I don't have any connections to like the UFC or anything specifically. But I think what happens a lot of the time with that kind of situation is people who skill wise would naturally, like, you would say, okay, fighter X is really good fighter, smashes everybody, might not be the most entertaining fighter, but always wins, beats the best guys. But Dana White won't give this person a title shot. Might be because they're not entertaining enough, or the pay-per-views are not going to sell the same way that, like, a Conor McGregor would sell, who's got both skill and, is very, very good at getting people to watch his fights. So I think probably like in that kind of question, it's a lot of MMA is starting to have to balance entertainment value with actual martial arts skill. I don't know if that makes any sense or not.
No, totally, absolutely. So sometimes it's not the best guy gets the title shot. It's a really good guy that's also fairly entertaining.
Or a guy that's really not good at all. Like, I mean, there are some fighters that have a name from, like if somebody like Lance Armstrong wanted to get an MMA fight, he could probably get an MMA fight.
Take a shot at the title.
Well, because people would watch that, right?
Like Brock Lesnar.
Well, or but he beat some legit dudes, but like Shane Carwin. But like,
what's that one guy that's been fighting recently that just got beat up again, and then it was like
CM Punk.
CM Punk.
I was gonna say that.
How did he? So he didn't go through Did he go through an amateur circuit to get to the UFC, or did he just do a promo fight?
As far as I know, he didn't go through an amateur circuit. I don't think he had a whole lot of MMA training prior to his fight, so maybe like a couple years of jiu-jitsu and MMA training on top of it. I don't know if he was a blue belt or not by that point. But, he would be an example of somebody who got a fight in the highest profile organization, being the UFC, based on, he was in the WWE and he had a certain amount of like fame or whatever. Whereas there's guys like, people that we know, like, Basil, for example, like that dude's a killer. And, there's a lot of other fighters who maybe would have to work a lot harder and go through the process of like amateur fights and then professional fights and then, making sure they're entertaining and then getting recognized and putting in the legwork to actually build themselves up to the point where they can get into the UFC.
On the one hand, I understand like the profit motive and stuff like that, and wanting to have like a professional, like wanting to make money and have a big deal and have people watch your pay-per-views. But on the other hand, if you take that too far, it's like a very fine line, because if people know your fights are bullshit, like the Kimbo Slice versus Dada 5000 fight. Like, that was is the most watched fight of all time, I think.
Really?
Yes.
Dang.
Are you serious?
Yes. But the problem is that it degrades the value of the federation that puts it on, because you're like, who gives a shit? This isn't even fighting. And it really wasn't. I mean, it was really sad.
I mean, at that point, I prefer the Kimbo Slice backyard fights when he was doing security for the Bang Bus. Oops.
He was doing security for the Bang Bus?
Yeah, Dirty Sanchez was the guy that would film all those backyard fights. Reality Kings, bro. Come on, man. Wow. Don't you know your history?
Did you see the one where he knocked that guy's eyeball out?
Yeah.
I don't remember that one, thank God.
I think, I don't know if the eye like popped all the way out, but I think he hit some guy so hard that his eye started to pop out of the socket. And I think that's part of where people started to like notice the Kimbo Slice backyard fights.
I remember he fought like a cop who had a little bit of grappling experience.
Sean Gannon, was it?
I think so.
Yeah, and he like guillotined
distance and really fuck him up. And Kimbo's promoter, who looked like a pimp, quite literally, he had like a huge coat on. He would keep trying to get in there and break it up. And it's like, you don't understand. This is a street fight. Everything goes. And he's like, no, you can't do this grappling stuff. And it's like, all right, like, when your boy's losing, you seem to be real concerned about that. It was fucked up. Jared Feather, would you fight Kimbo Slice, R.I.P.?
He's pretty old now, right?
He's dead.
He's dead?
Well, you heard it here first, folks. Jared Feather.
Spoiler alert.
Wow, I didn't know that guy.
Chris McDonald's dying back there.
My heart is breaking.
Marcos, can you believe we associate ourselves with these people?
You know what? I have more respect for Jared. He's obviously just immersed himself in the fucking Iron game that he doesn't watch TV.
Yeah, I don't watch TV much.
Really?
When the fuck did Kimbo die?
Like 5 years ago. No big deal.
Yeah, like it was like a year ago, I think.
Well, it wasn't a big deal to me, so...
Oh, what a dick. Shit. Jared's a piece of shit. That's what we learned on this podcast.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good night, Kimbo.
Taylor Oxelgren asks a very pertinent question. This is some deep shit. God damn. What do you feel are some of the weaknesses of BJJ, which I can only imagine stands for blow job job, as a martial arts / fighting style? Actually, hold up. We're going to get you expert. We're going to get you last. Let's get the peanut gallery to weigh in on the shit. Marcos, a BJJ fighter stepped up to you in the fucking grocery store and you're like, nah, fam, this ain't going to be like that.
Because
how are you going to fuck him up? What are you going to do?
Dimok or Pai Mei White Eyebrow Kung Fu, and I just like, pop, 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 pop.
Oh, wait, that was a joke, right? You didn't actually do it?
No, I just faked it. It's my left hand.
Oh, it's only the right hand move.
Then you take 5 steps and then you're dead.
Heart explodes. So weakness number one is that
weakness.
It's not weakness.
Weakness.
I speak properly. I try. So weakness number one is that it's not a magical kung fu style.
Boom, you lose. Like,
That's a pretty obvious weakness, though.
Yeah, like, what are you going to do against Steven Seagal? Josh.
Don't even bother answering that, Josh,
Chuck Norris.
because we know it's not going to be shit. Running is probably also pointless because he can run too. Nah, that was a stretch.
Yeah, have you not seen
there's
how
the
Steven
5
Seagal
steps,
runs?
right?
Say what?
Have you not seen how Steven Seagal runs?
It's really disturbing.
It's
The
beautiful.
biomechanics are baffling. Chris McDonald will be asking you that in the next episode on biomechanics. Steven Seagal's run. Jared, a BJJ guy talks way too much shit to you. What are you going to do?
Resolve the issue with reason and logic and just make sure
God,
this
don't get
motherfucker
too
getting
quarrel.
fucked up.
You're getting beat up.
You're getting fucked up.
While
Tapped
you
out.
reason and logic, Josh is
Spoken
gonna be
like a
taking
true
your-
jiu-jitsu guy.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
right.
thank you so
Taking
much.
your ankles home.
I mean, I know Muay Thai, so whatever, but I'm not going to fight the guy.
Nice. But
I'm not
let's
gonna-
say like
I'm
he
not
was
gonna-
an evil
I know I can
jiu-jitsu
kick a lot of
zombie.
people's ass, but I'm not going to like kick a lot of people's ass. It doesn't make sense. Just be nice to people.
Muay Thai.
Scott, the videographer, just told us a story earlier about how he just like beat up an old lady at like the store.
Oh my
today.
God.
It was really fucked up, man. Yeah. She was like, just had it coming. Don't cut in front of me, bitch. That's what he said to her. Josh, weaknesses of BJJ as a martial arts / fighting style.
I mean, I guess it depends on the context. Because like when people talk about self-defense, like if we're talking about mixed martial arts, that's one thing. If we're talking about self-defense, that's a different
Let's
thing.
do both. Let's do mixed martial arts and then self-defense on the streets.
So mixed martial arts weaknesses. So if we use like somebody like Damian Maia as an example, so he's like pretty much strict jiu-jitsu guy with a reasonable level of striking, but maybe not as high as other people in his division level of striking, or Jacare or somebody like that. The problem becomes their skill is in taking somebody to the ground and then finishing the fight on the ground. So, if they can't strike with the person, they don't have a variety of ways to get the fight to the ground, then they're kind of fucked. So like, for example, Damian Maia versus Tyron Woodley.
Yes.
You sure it's Tyrone Woodley?
It is, yeah.
I don't have to look it up.
Nope. So Damian Maia versus Tyron Woodley, like the big issue was prior to that, he was able to take pretty much everybody down and maul them on the ground grappling. And then with Tyron Woodley, his takedown defense was too good. And then he got
Stuffed him,
out.
like fucking 30, 40 times or something
It-
crazy.
yeah,
It was
exactly.
Like the most stuffed takedown attempts ever. It was fucking crazy.
Yeah, and it was brilliant. Like his hand fighting, and he was using underhooks really well. And Damian Maia couldn't get to the ground, and he couldn't hang with Tyron Woodley striking.
Of course not.
So if you can't get the fight to the ground, and you really can't use your jiu-jitsu effectively. So the weakness would be like, it's a very like, it's just, a specialist martial art. Just like if you were only a Muay Thai guy and you can't do any grappling, if you get taken down, you're screwed. So in MMA, the people who can do everything at a very high level are going to be more successful.
And what about in the streets?
I mean, that's an impossible question, because it's like when people talk about the streets, I don't know if they're talking about like a bar fight, or if they're talking about getting carjacked by somebody, or if they're talking about,
Carjacking, no weapon. Strong arm robbery.
how many people?
One guy.
No weapons?
Athletic adult male, no weapons. He's like, give me that shit. Like you walk out of your car, you've got your keys. He's like, give me that fucking shit.
And then what are the weaknesses of jiu-jitsu?
In that like situation, yeah. Like, what do you think? How's jiu-jitsu faring there?
I mean, if you're skillful at jiu-jitsu and you can take somebody to the ground, then you would have to worry about, you don't have to worry about weapons, but you would have to worry about maybe getting picked up and slammed if you're on the bottom. You'd have to worry about somebody sticking a finger knuckle deep in your eyeball, getting bitten, things like that. But, I mean, a lot of the time reasonably athletic person is going to be able to handle themselves pretty well in that situation with jiu-jitsu. I don't know. It's such a hard question to answer, like the self-defense stuff, because there's so many
Let's say
aspects
you were
to
in
it.
that scenario, like you literally get out of a car.
I don't even have a driver's license.
Me neither.
Nope.
You guys are not adults, so
We got skateboards.
who drove you here, sir?
I rode my skateboard.
Oh, God, Jesus,
I rode
that's
a
not
pink
surprising.
skateboard with blue wheels.
Excellent. All right. So let's say somebody like a crazed bum tackles you off of your skateboard,
Yeah.
and he is in your
Does he
guard
smell?
now. He's like a decently put together bum, and he's like mistook you for somebody else.
So he's just crazy, but he's not one of those like dick cheese smelling like.
No,
homeless
just kind of crazy, like with like a sideways like
Like a well
visor.
put together.
Yeah, with a sideways visor and like a tank top. Josh looks like he could be selling ecstasy at a rave or some shit like that. So let's say he mistook him for that guy.
Like a DJ of the Ukraine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he tackles you, brings you to the ground, and starts swinging. What is your plan of action at that point?
triangle.
No, I mean,
Half to ankle lock.
no, I mean, if I'm on bottom, then I'm trying to break posture, clinch, trying to find some way to reverse and then control from on top. Maybe finish with a choke or get up and run like hell if I feel like I can outrun him. So either choke, get on top, choke, control, or get up and run.
Sounds like a good time either way.
Yeah, and then so then
my
the
Tuesday night.
weaknesses, with stuff like that, you're getting attacked by somebody who is homeless. I don't know if they have any diseases or not. So if I get bit by somebody, or if I get some kind of blood on me, or there's all kinds of things like that to consider. So weaknesses, you're rolling around on the ground with somebody who might have Hep C or something like that, and they're bleeding on you. This can be a problem. You get somebody bites your ribs, then you get an infection. You got to go on antibiotics for a couple weeks after that. That's why self-defense stuff is such a weird thing, because you have these tools unless they're like a lot bigger, stronger, and they just like catch me off guard and just smash my skull into the ground, I'm probably going to be able to smash that dude. But am I going to get some kind of disease from it? Am I better off flipping him over, getting on top and running like hell?
Yeah.
So
lesson number 1, don't fight unless you absolutely have to.
yes,
Honey, I got herpes from the homeless guy. Sure you did, Josh. You're out of here.
exactly. Yeah.
That'd be hard to explain.
What about all these text messages? All right. Jared,
Oh, right.
back when you were attacking random people,
Yeah.
how did you do it?
Dark time in my life.
Yeah.
I would take my skateboard and attack them
Nice.
with the skateboard.
Well done, Jared.
I would push them out of the way at the grocery store. Old ladies, for the most part.
with their Batman shirts on?
Yeah.
Get out of here, bitch.
Yeah, if they
Dumb
wore a Batman shirt, I was basically designed
Just
to
war.
obliterate.
Yeah, got it.
Thank you.
Eternal Honor.
Like as a
Person's
samurai.
name.
This
Yeah.
is great.
A ton of
I thought that was the question.
Eternal Honor. Comment.
I have done.
Right. What drew you into grappling as opposed to striking-based discipline?
So I have really, really poor eyesight. I'm very nearsighted. So striking, I've dabbled in striking a little bit with like Muay Thai on and off for years, but I deal with jiu-jitsu much better because it's so close up and I don't really need to see very far if I'm grabbing somebody. Whereas with striking, I have to be able to I'm always too late because they're kind of out of my, I can't read the cues very well. I can't see well enough to be a good striker. I'm also slow as shit, so grappling works out a little bit better for me because being a slow striker is not an easy path to victory.
That makes sense.
So slow and blind means grappling is better for me.
Marcos.
That's exactly how I feel. I'm fucking slow and blind.
But you're a lover, not a fighter.
That's right.
Have you been in any street fights, Marcos?
Not for a long time. Not since high school.
You were
I was at high school in Harlem. so
highly overweight in high school?
You wouldn't understand. No, in high school I was actually in shape.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And what was going to... a serious question. What was high school in Harlem like?
Just like every other high school in every fucking ghetto.
So why did you say I wouldn't understand?
Because you, in St. Petersburg, you guys probably went to nice...
I've physically never been in St. Petersburg.
Bro, come on,
my
man.
entire life.
Come on. What's that tattoo on your back?
Oh, if it's a tattoo of the city
Of the
map of
hair.
St.
That's
Petersburg.
Planet
Yeah.
Fitness.
Yeah.
Please.
Well, so what was it like? Just seriously. Open up, Marcos. Stop hiding
It's
these
fun.
fucking scars, bro. What? Stop hiding the scars. Let it out.
Can't do it
I'll
anymore.
cry with
I can't do it.
Motherfucker, you haven't cried since like 1993.
Yeah, you're right.
You were born the year after.
I was born in '93, but
Really? Wow, weird.
Oh,
Josh, can you believe that shit? He's born in 1993.
You're a young man.
Young punk.
I'm balls dropped
Damn
and you weren't
kids.
even born yet.
You're wise beyond your years, Jared Feather.
Oh, thank you
Here's
very much.
an interesting question from Instagram. Josh Vogel, exactly what were you doing in 1993?
That's not from Instagram.
you serious?
It's
That's
not
a
from
good
Instagram,
question.
but that's a good question.
I think
wanna
I
know.
was just starting high school. I graduated in 97, so I would have just been starting in 93. I was riding a skateboard. I probably had Jenko jeans, a ponytail with the sides of my head shaved, chain wallet.
There you go.
Yep, all the above. I may have just changed your life.
You did.
Damn, dude. Are you his dad?
I guess I could be. It works out biologically, right?
Yeah.
Have you ever done your 23andMe?
I haven't, no.
I'd be curious to see if like Kevin Bacon reaches out and he's like, "Yo, what's up, bro? I've been looking for you my whole life."
That'd be
And-
kind of cool if
and
he
the
was your
skateboard.
brother.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, we're long lost brothers. Also your other brother, who looks almost exactly like Josh. It's people used to mistake them all the time at Balance. Wouldn't it be weird
So
if
many
you were
brothers.
Kevin Bacon's, like Kevin was like, hey, come to my mansion. You can eat all these free snacks and stuff.
But it's not really a mansion. It's like it's probably like a small room like this.
You know what's funny is like if that actually, so I don't really like Kevin Bacon's movies very much.
Don't say that. It could be related to him. This will come back to bite you in the ass.
And he kind of gets on my nerves when I see him on the screen. But if I met him in real life, I'd probably backtrack real quick from that. Be like, oh yeah, I was
Dude,
just
I'm
goofing
such a
around.
huge fan. I'm such
Yeah.
a huge fan.
Around.
I've seen all your movies. He's like, name one. You're like,
The one with you in it. You know, remember when you were the guy and then this
did the
girl?
thing.
was-
Vampire in Brooklyn Part 2. I thought you were great in that. It's like, wait, what?
All right. Travis Capfit. I need to learn how to read better. Best martial arts movie of all time. We're all going to vote on this.
That's a good question.
Josh, you give it some thought because we want to get an
Yeah,
answer
you guys
from
go first.
Marcos, best martial arts movie of all time. I have my answer. It's super
Me
easy.
too.
I can't believe you guys are even wondering
I
about this.
mean, I want to say it, but it's going to come off wrong. Big Trouble in Little China?
Damn, dude. Is that really a martial arts movie, though?
I
Or
know.
more like
that's how
sci-fi
I'm confused.
fantasy?
Shut the fuck up. It's everything.
It is everything. It's a great movie. Nick Shaw hated it.
Well,
Bite
you're
your
okay,
tongue.
Nick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jared?
Hong Bak.
Ong Bak was great.
Yes.
The Protector.
My favorite.
He busted
Actually,
a lot of people
The
in
scenes
the
in
face.
those,
Wrong.
man. The scenes in those are amazing.
The Protector
Fight
was not Ong Bak. It was Tom Yong-gun or something like
Yeah.
that. Nice try.
That's true.
It's all Muay Thai anyway.
It was. It was
Mine is
amazing
the
Muay Thai.
correct answer. It was Bloodsport with Jean-Claude Van Damme.
When we were
of
in Hong
which the
Kong? Oh my God.
Yeah, totally.
just like
we
that.
literally went to Hong Kong. It was the same shit as Bloodsport.
Exact
Like, I
same
swear
like
to
that.
God, we ended up in the Kumite by accident.
Yeah.
Jared and I both drew out.
Yeah, it was-
faked a tap. And no joke, the intro scene to that, where it's a compilation of everyone training, I can't watch it without kicking something. It's amazing. The soundtrack, everything. Scotty, can you overlay? Oh, we're legally not allowed to do that, are we? Nobody's going to sue Canon Films. That's not even a thing anymore.
Seriously, dude.
You can hum the soundtrack.
Hum it.
Scott, hum
Hum
it,
it,
record it,
fucking-
put it over. Josh.
The Last Dragon
With,
with
Bruce Leroy.
Bruce Lee. Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
My brother's friends with him, with Tamak.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Come to the city. You can hang out with him.
okay.
Does he glow?
Pause.
Not really.
Pause. How are you going to have one fucking name, bro? He has one name. His name is just Timac. You know, motherfucker, you got a government name. You got
Actually,
a last name. Use it.
When
What's
you
your
and
real name?
when yourself and Nicholas Shaw, who hates all the nice things, were training in the city, he was actually a trainer on the Upper East Side as well. Yeah, no shit.
But seriously, how come he has just one name?
I don't fucking know.
What's your one name? If you had to have one name, what would it be? The Kid.
What would yours be? Doctor? Come on, Doc. Come on, kid. We gotta go.
The Kid's fine. Sometimes Josh calls me the Kid.
The Experiment.
The Experiment. So, Jared, one name. What is it?
The Hawk.
Feather.
Hawk
Jared. Pick one.
Chicken Hawk.
Heather or Jared.
Don't call me by it.
50 creativity points go to the man who picked either his first or last name. What about Colton?
Oh, you're gonna
Your
throw that
middle
out there. How the hell
name.
do you remember that shit?
I remember everything about
Actually,
you.
I'm gonna call you Tristan.
You got to elaborate on
That's
this.
fine. Tristan sounds like a...
Or shouldn't he?
elaborate on why he knows my middle name?
Oh, that's your middle. I thought there was like a story behind it. Like,
I don't know why he knows that. I
Wait,
didn't
what's
know.
his middle name?
Did I write that on a fucking paper one time? You just.
You
What's his
sent
middle
me
name?
your passport information
Oh,
because
fuck
of
you,
international
right.
travel. You
Colton?
fucking idiot.
Fuck
Colton. Yeah. Stupid person.
Little bitch.
Josh, one name to represent you, possibly even a symbol.
a symbol.
Hashtag.
Yeah.
Shit.
Just the
I should have
eggplant.
thought more about this.
Just an
Not
eggplant.
even prepared for this
Probably a
podcast.
Starbucks cup.
Oh my god.
That'd be my symbol.
There we go.
Chris McDonald, you better be thinking about all this shit and getting ready for this kind of ridiculous non-questions we're asking you. Somebody's going to ask you, be like, hey, man, what was it like being on a Sports Scientist podcast? You'll be like, confusing and stupid?
I no longer understand myself.
I hate it when people ask me like, "Oh, so you can do that podcast again?" And I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "Send me the link." I'm like, "Nah,
You don't wanna see
I don't
it.
want to see this shit."
No. Gains for Harambe
Oh wow.
asks, this is actually a good question. Biggest tip to white belts other than just keep showing up, LOL, exclamation mark.
This is a good question because that's one of the ones I was looking at. So for white belts, the biggest problem you're going to run into when you start rolling is everything is confusing. So you slap hands with somebody and then all of a sudden you're in this tumbleweed of like limb spaghetti and then you're getting strangled. So the first thing that you want to do is find some way to organize your jiu-jitsu. And the best way to do that is to pick one move from every major position and use that as your goalpost. So if somebody's mounted on top of you, elbow escape. If
Why do you
somebody's
think he's my coach, you dumb
Fuck it. I wish my guys would have started with that. I would have been like, "Oh, perfect." Instead of, "Yeah, just keep coming to class. You'll learn tomorrow." It's like
There's
another
not
move.
a lot of Josh Vogels.
God damn it!
Well, there has to be a path, right? Because like when it's so confusing when you first start, like even if you remember, the problem is you either don't know anything or you know too much. So you got 5 moves from the mount that your teacher showed you, and you don't know if you should go for the Americana, the X choke, the Ezekiel choke, the head and arm choke, the rolling back take from the mount. And you're like,
What?
And then you can't remember any of those things. So just pick one thing from every major position, and then you'll have the skeleton of a game plan, and then you can build off of that. So when you get to, an advanced white belt, maybe you add another technique, and then maybe you replace one of the ones that's not working with something more effective for you, and then you start pruning that game plan over time, and then by the time you're a black belt, you have a well-refined game plan. But if you don't have any plan from the beginning, you're just going to tussle around with people until you accidentally do something right. And then
My first year and a half of training.
that's everybody, man. My first 2 years I spent smelling like cigarettes on bottom of side control. That was my first 2 years of jiu-jitsu. Me and my brother going absolutely nuts on each other, spazzing like crazy, dry heaving on the side of the mat because we were chain smokers. And then I would roll with somebody else and they would maul me and I would just be on bottom of side control for the rest of the training session.
You ever find those people now and just tool them the fuck up?
There's not a lot of them around anymore.
You killed them?
Yes.
They died from secondhand smoke.
From your gi? They're like
I play the
your
long
gi, they're
game,
like,
bitch.
We don't tell Phil and Rick, but we.
This is going to be on TV.
I know. I distinctly remember once or twice, maybe more, taking a smoke break during open mats,
wow.
where like you're rolling and then you go outside and you smoke a cigarette and then you go back in and start rolling again. It's amazing that anybody put up with our shit.
Cigarette.
That's funny.
Yes, they were real cigarettes. They're normal cigarettes. Yeah,
They're probably self-rolled hipster cigarettes.
No.
they were American Spirits or Camel Reds.
Satan's cabbage.
God.
The devil's lettuce. You know what I mean?
All right, Jared, did you ever smoke cigarettes at any time in your life?
Never done a drug or anything like that. In
I
my
would
life.
never
Except
harm
for
my
alcohol.
body. Oh.
You've done alcohol before?
I've done alcohol
Disgusting.
before. Middle school. Actually, before middle school. I was like 8, 9.
This motherfucker got problems.
He's the only one here who would pass the test for purity of heart. Everybody else, dead fail. You could get past those 2 Sphinx with the laser beams in their eyes.
Yeah. Like,
What the fuck? What kind of test is this shit? How many psychedelics are you on right now? I ain't never seen the Sphinx.
We failed.
Oh,
Wait.
I haven't seen the Fink shit.
What's this? Yeah, damn. So, what's this purity test, Josh? I've passed several purity tests poorly.
Purity of heart, Mike.
Pass them
That's a
poorly.
test that you're not going to pass, my friend.
Damn, that's true. Well, I don't think any Jew.
You are a nice guy, though.
Test.
You'll pass my test.
You can't be
buddy.
Jewish and pass a purity of heart test because you can be bought. Are we editing that out? Nah, fuck it.
No.
So,
He could say that.
Manoli Bergen. I thought he was going to have like an Italian last name too. Manoli Fazzoli.
That sounds like a European fanny pack company.
Manoli Bergen.
Yeah, I would wear one of those.
Upstairs?
Yeah.
What kind do you have?
It's a North Face.
Nice.
What
Stylish.
a bougie cocksucker.
No, it
Can
was
you
on-
even
it was-
speak
it-
to the rest of us?
You'd like this part, Mike. It was on sale.
I got mine in Thailand. Everything's always on sale in Thailand.
Like this.
Yeah, you got it because you fucking saw mine. And
No,
you're
I
fucking
never saw
jealous.
yours, Marcos. I never
Envy.
saw shit.
It's a
I
hell of
never,
a fucking
ever
sin.
envied
Yeah,
you.
I've only worn
wear
it for the
fanny
last
packs
fucking
too?
5 years.
No,
I the
gotta
opposite of
start.
envy you.
You're disgusting.
I
It's like
revile-
always having an extra
You know
pocket.
what? You don't pass the fucking purity of fucking laser.
You don't never
three
pass
eyes.
the purity of it. You can't
The third
be on,
eye of
you can't
purity.
be on
You can't pass
XX
it.
on XNXX
You will never
for 8
pass.
hours a day and pass a purity test, Marcos.
Oh, I couldn't pass.
Watch
it
the
either.
never-ending story. You'll understand the purity of heart thing
Yeah,
Okay.
with the
you
laser
seen that?
beams and shit.
White people movie.
I've seen it. I
it's
love
a
that
great
movie.
fucking movie.
Fucking
Isn't it?
traitor.
Yeah, all the 80s movies.
you fucking
Last
kidding?
Yeah.
Dragon,
Never seen it.
Never
That's
Ending
a
Story.
fucking
Goonies?
Goonies.
Goonies?
Yeah, they're all on TNT like on Saturdays and
amazing.
Sundays when you were a kid.
Yeah, the Warriors.
We digress into exactly what this podcast is meant for. Best martial art for self-defense, spelled incorrectly, on everyday life. So if you're on top of everyday life,
Jiu-Jitsu.
Shit, I don't know. I mean,
Krav Maga is the correct answer.
Of course you would say. Of course you would
a
say.
lot of
that.
people tell me that.
A lot
Yes.
of people tell me.
Yes.
like half.
Pointless.
I probably have that conversation like 3 times a week, where like people will come in and they'll tell me their prior martial arts experience. They're interested in checking out classes, and it's like,
usually
oh
the-
well, I did some Krav. And 4 years of Tang Sudo, and so basically I don't really have to do beginners classes. I could just hop right into the advanced classes. It's
Why are they so smug? Those Krav Maga people.
Talk about Krav Maga.
I don't really know much about it, so I can't.
What's the
speak.
deal with Jiu-Jitsu people and Krav Maga people beefing?
I don't know if there's a beef. I mean, if there is, it's one-sided. It's like an open-faced beef sandwich.
Damn, you're brilliant. Having him on the podcast is the
Good
greatest
analogies.
goddamn decision we've ever made. I mean, how do you even top that? I'm finna close out the podcast right now. But we have more questions.
Open face beef.
Charlie Chuckles asks an interesting question that I will slightly modify because our host, James Hoffman, has been permanently replaced with Jared Feather.
Thank
I'm
God.
just kidding. James will be back. He's currently previously occupied. Josh, marry one, fuck one,
God, here we go.
kill one, the 3 of us. Jared Feather,
That's a real
Marcos Rodriguez, and
Oh, so they said
myself.
So they said James.
They said James,
You had
but
to
they were
modify.
anticipating that he was going to be on. And instead, we got
Assholes.
this Riff Raff. Do you guys know the rapper Riff Raff?
Of
by the way?
course.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
What a ridiculous thing.
Yeah, he's
he is.
awful. He's terrible.
Chris McDonald's favorite rapper.
He started training for a while.
Was the question for Josh?
Yes.
Okay, so
He's thinking about it. He's been thinking, don't you
Who would
worry.
you fuck?
Uh,
Who would you
Oh,
fuck?
man.
Why are you yelling,
Who would you
Marcos?
fuck?
Why are you yelling, Marcos? Don't you want marriage?
Who
He
would you
wants to
fuck?
know.
Who'd you kill? And what's the other part?
Mary.
Yeah, whatever.
All right.
Doesn't register the Dominican
Mira, I'm Dominican,
vernacular.
papi. Mira, I don't. Mari, I know.
Mary, I don't know what
se
that means.
fue. I
This
don't-
doesn't translate to Spanish.
I don't understand.
I want
don't
I want
understand
everyone
it.
to answer this in the comments. Everyone that
Please.
sees this,
Yeah.
to answer this in the comments. That'd
Yeah.
be sweet.
En el comentario,
I want to see how much I die.
en el Instagram, por favor.
People are going to fuck you, Jared.
You see this motherfucker?
Marcos is a good looking
Sexy
man.
as fuck.
I think it's like 50-50. I think
Josh?
you, the motherfucker that's dead.
I don't want to
I
say
think I would
this,
marry Mike, but
but it's time to choose.
I got to answer this, huh?
Yeah.
Come on.
All right,
I'm right
um,
here. Do it.
Marcos,
to
stop
fuck me.
biasing Josh. Stop it.
Man. Fine.
All right, so I would fuck Marcos because I like his hat.
yes, he's so good looking.
That's what it takes. That's what it takes to get in motherfucking pants nowadays. That's what it takes to get.
I would marry
fucking
you
laid.
because you have a pure heart.
Oh my goodness, Mike.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry, Mike. You gotta die, buddy.
He's seen your feet, dog. You dead, motherfucker.
Shut up about my feet. Nothing's wrong with my feet. Second of all, like, it's kind of like there's a bit of honor
That's
to
gotta
dying
feel like
by your
shit.
master's lightsaber.
Oh yeah.
Whatever. I'd fuck you right. Don't worry about it.
I think he's fucking you.
Whatever, man. I reciprocate.
Can you just fuck him first and then marry me? Because I can't deal with the whole cheating thing.
All right. That's fair.
I'm a jealous
Wait, are
piece
you
of
watching?
But you guys wouldn't be able to be friends afterwards.
If
Sure
you
we
fuck
would.
him before I marry you,
I'd have to unfriend him on Facebook.
No, I'd be good. I'd be okay.
Yeah, me too. I'd be okay with that. Either way. Are you in the room watching though? Is this like one of those like cuck specials?
Like if I didn't know we were gonna get married, probably.
So years later, when Josh's car breaks down on the way back
And
home
I'm,
to
like,
you,
driving back-
but he calls you and he's like, "Hey, car broke down today," and you're like, "Oh no, I should drive out." Be like, "Marcos is gonna drop me off."
Oof. That would be heavy.
God damn it.
Jared, the wheel fell off my skateboard.
And then there's gonna be like Marcos is like awkwardly driving Josh, and no one says anything.
And
for
Josh
miles
is like,
miles.
"What, Jared? It's like a open-faced empanada." And like,
Yeah.
pernil.
Marcos, would you like look at Josh and kind of be like, we were good, weren't we? And Josh is like all red faced, like, I don't want to talk about this.
No, because me and him are friends. He wouldn't do that.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
We're friends at this
Yeah,
point.
right. He's Dominican.
I don't, so what?
Look at that
motherfucker?
fine piece of ass. Tell me you
Jared's
would
my
do
boy. Friendship, dog.
165 pounds.
I thought you were like 205 when you walked in.
No, I was 161 when I came in.
it. Damn, you've been absorbing the air, I see.
It's 205 with a heart on.
Photosynthesis.
You're welcome.
Trey space I space G. Thoughts on strictly using maces and kettlebells for blowjob job strength training? I personally do not train this way. I tend to train heavy barbell basics along with accessory work, but a ton of people at my academy do and won't shut the hell up about it. Maces and kettlebells. I've been known to use a mace back in 1296.
I mean, honestly, that's kind of outside of my area of expertise, but it seems like just basic barbell stuff.
You've
would be
never
the
been
best.
to Worlds and your coach is like massaging your shoulders, is like, hey man, the guy you're going up against next, he trains with maces and kettlebells, so like watch out for like, whatever stuff he's gonna do.
Well, that's when I walk out the door.
You're like, I'm not trying to get killed. You sending me to the
I
lions.
don't have that kind of shoulder mobility.
Yeah.
Well, that's because you don't do maces.
Problem solved.
Probably.
Yeah, that's that shit, right? They're like,
I don't know what a mace is. I thought that was like a power hammer or some shit like that.
it's all the same. Stupid.
I think a mace is when it's on a fucking string, right? And you,
Oh yeah.
No, it's called a mace.
what is the
Well, both of those. You're right.
both maces. It's not a war hammer.
That's what you spray people with.
Yeah.
I think
you're like,
war-
time to train with mace to get strong.
That kind
2
of
hours
mace.
later, you're like, fuck this.
I think the warhammer is more of a dwarven weapon. So.
Yeah. Ooh, okay. Josh, Lord of the Rings, have you seen it?
Yes.
Which of the many races would be the best at jiu-jitsu / what games would they play?
I think the elves would be the best at jiu-jitsu.
Technical, right? It's just
Well-
ridiculously smooth.
Yeah,
And
like
light.
they look like Mendez brothers.
Yeah.
Like they look like they could just do some crazy berimbolo
And they do.
stuff, and then when somebody figures that shit out, they'll invent something else.
Yeah.
And they live forever.
You're right, man. They would be like a triple,
Dwarves and
quadruple,
hobbits would be
purple belt,
fucked.
like on top of red belt kind of shit. Yeah.
Yep. And then
Dwarves
when-
would suck.
And when we start to lose, they just disappear, go to the Grey Lands.
Damn, that's cheating.
See?
That's disqualification.
Yep. Start your own open, Matt.
Yeah, but none of the ogres are in their weight class, so that's not really a fair question.
Well,
Open
there's
category.
there's goblins, there's
Well, then the
ogres,
elves aren't
there's
winning.
orcs, there's the hybrid.
You
fucking-
really, Jared? No. Oh, we got a debate on our hands. So, Josh, you get to coach the elven team. Jared is getting to coach the orcs.
I don't even gotta
Okay.
coach them.
Technique,
They're
bro.
orcs. They weigh how much?
Okay, how
600
many
pounds?
Legolas has
Which
killed
orc,
how
though?
many orcs?
With a fucking bow and arrow.
You telling me he needs that fucking thing? That shit is weighing
Have
him
you
down.
watched? And they've done hand-to-hand combat in the movies, and the elves don't fuck with it. They get the fuck out of it. They hit them with their bow. They back the fuck up.
You might be right. We gotta watch
I
those
know I'm
movies
fucking
again.
right. You kidding me?
That's aggressive.
Josh, this is a serious insult to your professional expertise
No,
here.
Mike, go roll with the 100-pound fucking dude who
Meanwhile-
has a black belt. You're gonna.
I have. Some of them tooled me up. What do you think Josh does to me, man? I
He's not
outweigh him
100
by
pounds.
He's 160. I'm 260.
I'm 167.
He's like an elf. He's like a big elf.
Okay, well, no.
Meanwhile, the fucking hobbits are
150.
fucking digging in your pockets while you guys are fighting. Like, oh yeah, got it.
Free money.
Is that a gold arrow? I'm
Orcs
out of
are
here.
like 400 pounds.
Fighting. What's the ROI on that?
What's the ROI?
Yeah. Well, we'll answer the question. Strictly maces and kettlebells for jiu-jitsu is fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Get what I call mean strong with barbell basics and hurt people.
Well, you did a while back write an article for Jug Strength,
Yep.
I believe, on
How to train for jiu-jitsu.
programming jiu-jitsu, which I thought was brilliant.
Yep.
That's
And I have
when
a-
I was doing jiu-jitsu, and
Oh,
I
cool.
shared it with all my buddies.
And they probably just read it while doing kettlebells and maces.
No, they're not that type.
That's sweet. And then well, there's a video, jiu-jitsu and weight training, so that's good stuff. But yeah, don't piss away your time doing weird shit. James Hardy personal training, a person I know personally. That's funny. At what belt level does Josh think it's okay to start teaching leg locks, more specifically heel hooks?
I start people off like if I have the benefit of training somebody privately, like where I can control their training and the game plan that they're using, then I usually introduce straight ankle locks, maybe towards the very tail end of white belt, and then I start introducing heel hooks early blue belt. And the reason is because from the straight ankle lock position, like if you have the most basic straight ankle lock position, you can use that to straight ankle lock somebody, which is legal at pretty much all belt levels, sometimes not at white belt, but blue belt and above. And from that position, you can sweep somebody, you can take the back, you can pass the guard, you could do a bunch of stuff with it. So you learn how to use that position effectively as a guard, as a sweeping tool, blah, blah, blah. And then that also is sort of the gateway drug position for more advanced leg locks. So if you get good at that late in white belt, by the time you're like an early to mid blue belt, you should have all the tools to control somebody's leg for doing heel hooks and doing the more advanced leg lock positions. So late white belt with straight ankle locks, and then early blue belt with heel hooks.
That's a great answer.
Oh, shit, yeah.
Jungie CM. That's Chris. Marcos has a crush on this man. It's mutual.
Does he have a nice hat?
He doesn't wear hats. He doesn't need hats.
Great head of hair. You've met him.
Really?
Yeah, he came to Balance and rolled at one time, and you taught him basic jiu-jitsu. Remember?
Oh, San Francisco, Chris.
Yeah.
Nice. He's a cool dude.
Well, wait till you hear this question. Any good stories about people starting shit on the street with Josh and not realizing that he is a black belt in the blowjob job?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any great stories. Like, I don't, I mean, you know, I get fucked with sometimes, I don't know, maybe like a few times a year just by like, you know, roving gangs of teenagers on bikes and stuff like that. And
welcome to Philadelphia, everybody.
yeah, like there's a lot of assholes in Philadelphia. So like people fuck with me, and I don't, most of the time it wouldn't make any kind of sense for me to engage and fight with them. Like I'm going to grapple with 5 18-year-old kids on bicycles.
Yep.
I'd
right?
pay to see that. I would pay fucking good money to see
Lucky
that.
I don't live here. I'd be a hype man. I'd be like, yo, Josh, let's get that motherfucker, yo.
World Star. World Star, I got the phone out.
Just spirit tackle like 3 of them. Like, Josh, you got the other 2. Go. Jared, press record.
I'm like, stop hitting him.
Wouldn't it be funny if they were like fucking with you and you're like, okay, stop. I will fight every single one of you one at a time. Within 1 minute of beginning to fight you, you will wish you never fought me. Just stand in line and we'll do this calmly. And they look at you and they'll be like, oh shit, we about to fuck him up. Ankle just flies off his body, pokes the other kid in the eye.
That'd be pretty awesome.
That would be pretty cool. I've daydreamed about it a lot.
Ankle locking in street fights.
Yeah, or like, you know, you're just like, okay, like there's 5 of you, but if you promise that we can have a one-on-one fight with no weapons involved and your friends aren't going to jump me, I'll fight all of you in a row. And then just fucking heel hooking all of them.
That's fucked up, man. Just go straight to your A game.
Yeah.
It's messed up. What has anyone ever showed up to the gym to like just like challenge you or Rick or Phil, and you had to be the one to fuck somebody up? Not fuck them up in an injury sense,
Dojo
just like
crushing.
show them what's up.
Yeah, I mean, I've had like
Seriously?
like yeah. So a couple years, maybe I can't remember if it was last year or the year before, but me and my wife Angie she works at the gym, and she's a brown belt in jiu-jitsu, and she's also teaches Muay Thai, so she's very, very good. And so we're leaving Balance at night, and you know, we're walking down the alley and it's poorly lit, and there's 2 guys that are like on each side of the alley, and they're not looking at us, they're looking away from us because they were jumping out of the alley and scaring people that were walking by. They're like maybe 18, 19 years old, pretty athletic looking guys. Not big, but like they look like they could move around a little bit. So anyway, we started walking down the alley. We didn't see them until they turned around and saw us. So they start walking towards us, and I drop my stuff and I start getting ready to fight. And Angie's there too, and she's ready to fight.
She probably like lived for that moment. Angie likes to hurt
She was
people.
born to kill somebody.
Yeah.
This woman. But they start walking towards us, and then the one kid starts laughing. He's like, "Oh, we were just trying to scare you guys, like, you know, relax or whatever." And then, you know, of course, I did my like grandpa talk, like, you know, you're gonna get killed like that, right? Like jumping out and scaring people. What if I had a gun? Like blah blah blah. So eventually they leave, and then the next day, one of them comes back after I'm done teaching my class. So I'm teaching my class in the school. And one of my students comes running. He's like, yo, there's some guy outside looking for you. So I run outside with my gi on, looking like an asshole, and with my pajamas. And I walk outside, and it's one of the guys who was outside in the alley. And he came to apologize. So he's like, oh man, I'm sorry. I was trying to scare you guys yesterday. And I was like, you know, I mean, it's a bad idea, but you know, no harm done. And he's like, yo, I want to wrestle you. So I was like, fuck it. I brought him inside, had him sign the waiver, and we started grappling. And my student was there to watch just to make sure nothing crazy happened. And then I choked him a bunch of times. And then we shook hands, and he's like, yo, I'm going to get my brother to wrestle you. I was like, all right, tell him to come in. His brother never showed up. But epilogue to the story. A couple weeks later, this was in November, so maybe a month later, I didn't see this kid ever again. And then he comes in 2 days before Christmas to wish me a Merry Christmas.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That was the last weird challenge match kind of thing. Just some rando, like 18, 19-year-old kid that wanted to...
14, 15, sure, whatever.
No, I saw it. He actually gave me his real name when he signed the waiver, so I looked him up on Facebook. And he was like 19 years old. That was probably the least of the bad decisions that he's made in life based on his Facebook account. But
Yes.
I made a friend that day.
That's crazy.
Wholesome, right?
Very.
Folks, how can we leave off with anything better than that?
Heartwarming.
Through challenge matches, through the gringy, dusty life of Philadelphia.
Guys, that was a bad idea too. Don't do that kind of shit. It's really stupid because he could have done something really bad to me, or it could have ended badly. I have to say that.
During the challenge match?
Yeah, like, what if he was some nut job and he started biting my face or something?
A whole lot of arm bars and stuff you could have done to him for that.
Yeah, I would have choked him anyway.
Okay, that was dark.
I was trying to leave off on a nice note, but Josh intercepted that shit. Folks, remember this. Though life takes you many places, there's always time for surprise friendship. Scott the sound guy.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas. This episode's going to come right around Christmas, and we'll see you guys then. Josh, thank you so much for joining us in our merry band of pirates.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Sensei.
Peace.
Os.